What is the difference between short-run and long-run Phillips curve for inflation? Have you ever wondered how inflation and unemployment are connected? The relationship between these two economic factors is often illustrated by the Phillips curve. Let's break down the differences between the short-run and long-run Phillips curve. The short-run Phillips curve shows an inverse relationship between inflation and unemployment. This means that when unemployment decreases, inflation tends to increase and vice versa. In the short term, policymakers face a trade-off. For instance, if aggregate demand rises, it can lower unemployment but also cause inflation to increase. This movement along the short-run Phillips curve is temporary and can be influenced by various economic factors. Now let's look at the long-run Phillips curve. Unlike the short-run version, the long-run Phillips curve is vertical at the natural rate of unemployment. This indicates that there is no trade-off between inflation and unemployment in the long run. Over time, people's expectations about inflation adjust. Wages and prices become more flexible, and the economy tends to return to the natural unemployment rate, regardless of the inflation rate. This means that if policymakers try to keep unemployment below its natural rate, it will only lead to rising inflation without permanently reducing unemployment. In the short run, inflation expectations are often fixed or slow to change. Therefore, increases in demand can temporarily lower unemployment while raising inflation. This is depicted as a downward sloping curve where inflation and unemployment move in opposite directions. In the long run, however, as people adjust their expectations about inflation, any attempt to reduce unemployment below the natural rate will cause inflation expectations to rise. This shifts the short-run Phillips curve upward until unemployment returns to its natural rate, but at a higher level of inflation. Understanding these differences is essential for policymakers. They can use expansionary policies to reduce unemployment temporarily, but they must be aware that this may increase inflation in the short run. In the long run, monetary policy cannot permanently lower unemployment through inflationary means. Instead, it only leads to higher inflation. By grasping this distinction, policymakers can better manage inflation expectations and avoid strategies that may lead to runaway inflation without any real gains in employment. The short-run Phillips curve illustrates a temporary trade-off between inflation and unemployment, while the long-run Phillips curve shows that this trade-off disappears as inflation expectations adjust, leaving unemployment at its natural rate regardless of inflation. Understanding these key economic relationships is vital for navigating the complexities of inflation and unemployment.